Hello, all, and welcome back to the Easy Nerd. I'm the Easy Nerd, and I thought I would do something completely different. And instead of talking about superhero media, I would talk about my most favorite film series, that being Star Wars, and rank all 12 Star Wars movies from worst to best. Now, this list is going to be very controversial, and is just my opinion, and is not the right opinion. So let's head to a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. Last place, Star Wars The Clone Wars movie. This movie feels like both a pilot and a mash together of 3 or 4 Star Wars Clone Wars episodes. Now, I love both the 2D and 3D animated Clone Wars stuff, but this movie is probably my least favorite of the two. But I still think it's just about good. The story is pretty standard Clone War stuff, with the heroes tasked with saving Jabba the Hutt's son in the middle of the Clone Wars. The main heroes, Anakin Skywalker and Obi-Wan Kenobi, are cool as always, and it gets bonus points for introducing Ashoka Tano, who goes on to become one of my favorite Star Wars characters, as they fight Count Dooku, who is awesome as usual, and Asajj Ventress, a very underrated character, and other villains. The action, animation, and soundtrack are all fine. It's overall fine, but it's the most mid-bland movie on this list. 11th place, Solo, A Star Wars Story. Personally, I think this movie is great, and a great origin story for Han Solo, played well by a younger actor as he meets Chewbacca and an excellently cast Lando Calrissian as Han retrieves the Millennium Falcon and we finally see the Kessel Run while they battle gangsters from the underrated villain group known as Crimson Dawn, as well as the Empire at points. All great stuff, with an awesome cameo at the end revealing the head of Crimson Dawn. The action is good throughout, costume and effects as well as the soundtrack pretty standard too. Overall, a great Star Wars prequel spin-off that deserves more love. 10th place, Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens. The first main saga movie on this list. And I know it seems low down, but I think the movie is an absolute blast to watch and felt like such a event movie back when it came out. We finally get to see all the original movie actors back together. Firstly, the story is a pretty standard, awesome Star Wars story with a MacGuffin the heroes need and a giant planet-sized planet destroyer to take down. It's a great ride, but the safe story for me is about a pitfall which holds it back from the movies that follow this one. The new heroes I mostly like. Rey is okay, a scavenger who is extremely strong with the Force, but she is the most bland. I love Finn in this movie, a turncoat stormtrooper who has a great arc, and Poe, an ace resistance pilot who will go on to become one of my favorite new characters, along with his awesome droid, BB-8. Han Solo, along with Chewbacca older, steal the show. The older Princess Leia with C-3PO and R2-D2 are also cool, and the return of my favorite ever character, Luke Skywalker, is here, but has a disappointing amount of screen time. Also, the movie misses that epic world building George Lucas does, with us seeing very little of the New Republic before it is wiped out. The villain shine. New villain Kylo Ren is a standout as he is in all movies. Captain Phasma, General Hux, and Supreme Leader Snoke are all pretty standard Star Wars villains. The action is great throughout. Costumes and effects great, and the legendary John Williams returns as composer and does a bang-up job as per usual. Overall, a brilliant Star Wars movie, but my least favorite of the main saga. Joint 8th and 9th. Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, and Episode 2, Attack of the Clones. Yes, the beginning of the Skywalker saga and these movies are both awesome. With the stories introducing us to a young Anakin Skywalker, paired up with his master, a younger Obi-Wan Kenobi, as we see the Jedi Order and the start of the war that would become the legendary Clone Wars. The stories are both awesome, which show new territory of the Star Wars universe with amazing world building, something George Lucas excels at. Only thing that lets the movies down is they can be a little dull and boring at times. The heroes are pretty good, with Obi-Wan, Anakin, Padme, Qui-Gon, Yoda, and others being standouts. The villains, even better, with Darth Sidious, the future Emperor, being just amazing as always, as well as the iconic Darth Maul. Count Dooku and Jango Fett. The action, brilliant, with the pod race and final duel of Episode 1 being epic and amazing, and the first Clone Wars battle in Episode 2 also being epic. Effects and costumes mostly great, and the John Williams soundtrack always legendary. Just both amazing movies ahead of their time in many ways. 7th place, Rogue One, A Star Wars Story. The first prequel spin-off, and man, this movie blew me away. It's essentially set just before the original movie, with many unknown side rebel heroes who would become iconic battling the Empire to get the Death Star plans, and it is executed nearly perfectly. The heroes, led by Jyn Erso and Andor Calrissian, are brilliant, with cameos from other iconic Star Wars heroes. The villain, Orson Krennic, along with cameos from other iconic Star Wars villains, are also brilliant. The action is perfect, with the ending space battle one of the best the series has ever given us. The costumes and effects are perfect, and the soundtrack great also. Overall, just an amazing ride of a Star Wars movie. Joint 5th and 6th Star Wars Episode 8, The Last Jedi, and Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker. On to the end of the saga, and easily the most controversial picks on this list. Now, I love these movies and think they are both huge improvement over The Force Awakens, as the stories feel grander, more epic, and risky, with a satisfying end to some of our classic characters, whether heroes or villains, and the epic saga as a whole. I appreciate the risks, and the one thing I didn't like about The Last Jedi being Rey is a nobody, The Rise of Skywalker retcons and explains in a great way, redeeming it. I just love the sense of war, doom, and end these movies carry. The heroes much improved with Rey given some explanation and backstory, and in my opinion becoming a more interesting character. Finn is strong as usual, and Poe, the standout of the three, being leader of the Resistance. Our classic trio of Luke Skywalker, Han Solo, and Princess Leia get amazing and perfect send-offs, and BB-8, Chewbacca, Lando Calrissian, C-3PO, and R2-D2 amazing as always. We also get some awesome hero cameos as well. On to the villain, with both Kylo Ren and the Emperor being amazing standouts, and Captain Phasma, General Hux, Supreme Leader Snoke, and Admiral Pride being cool also. The action is some of the best, especially the space battles and lightsaber fights in both. Costumes and effects great as usual. And the John Williams soundtrack legendary as always. In 4th place, Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. This was my favorite Star Wars movie growing up, and they just handled everything in the story perfectly, from the fall of the Jedi, rise of the Empire, end of the Clone Wars, and Anakin's fall to the dark side, becoming Darth Vader as Obi-Wan hides the born twins, Luke and Leia. All perfectly handled in this epic movie. The heroes being Obi-Wan, Anakin, Padme, Yoda, and the rest, brilliant as always. The villains being Emperor and Darth Vader, the standouts as usual, as well as Count Dooku, General Grievous, and others also being great. The action amazing, with the opening space battle and the final 2 lightsaber duels being the standouts. Costumes and effects probably the best the films have to offer. The soundtrack is John Williams at his best. It's many people's favorites, and I understand why, and it would be mine if not for the final 3 entries, which most have probably guessed. In top position we have Star Wars, the original trilogy. In my opinion, the original Star Wars, The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, is a perfect story and movie trilogy. From the Rebel Alliance, including farm boy Luke Skywalker, scoundrel Han Solo, and rebel leader Princess Leia with Chewbacca, a older Obi-Wan, and droids, C-3PO and R2-D2, blowing up the Death Stars, to them battling the Emperor himself in an epic final battle. It's just a perfect story. The heroes, as mentioned, are perfect. The villains, led by Darth Vader and the Emperor, with Grand Moff Tarkin, Boba Fett, and Jabba the Hutt, also perfect. The action, including the space battles and lightsaber fights throughout, perfect. Costumes and effects way ahead of their time. The soundtrack, well, you know the rest. Overall, a perfect story from beginning to end and one of the best movie experiences ever. Thanks for tuning in. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear your rankings. Don't forget to subscribe, and as always, this is the Easy Nerd signing off. May the Force be with you also.